Hey guys, welcome to Experimental Arts. My name's AJ. Today I'm kind of just going to show you some quick details on how to start a painting and how to kind of have a Vincent van Gogh style of mixing. You're obviously going to be able to see me work a little bit more. I'm off screen, hopefully not blocking your view here. Now, this demo is mainly also for a class I am teaching, and your canvas size will be only a 10 by 10. This is a 16 by something, 16 by 20, so a lot bigger than what you're going to be using, but the design I have in mind for this piece is a lot bigger, so I'm going to use this. So, in this project, I'm going to be expressing a food I like or dislike and create an unconventional canvas. Now, this is kind of already unconventional. It's not framed, but this is canvas. And I'm going to just kind of roughly sketch out my idea here. All right. What I have here is really gross to me. I'm doing big beans, and so something that is along the lines of dripping nastiness is what I'm going to enjoy a little bit more. Okay, so I kind of have my general layout. I know I'm going to be painting. I'm still going to paint over these edges, but I have the guidelines and I know what I need to fill to make sure my piece is complete. So what I have is I have palette paper. Some schools you will have little palette containers. I'm using palette paper. I'm going to put some basic colors on there. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to create a undercoat. So sometimes when people are painting, they miss one tiny little spot and the white shows through. We don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to color it with a lot of water, a little bit of paint. So I'm dipping my brush in a ton of water. Barely any paint. So it could drip off my palette paper pretty quick. I may even just dip some more water in there. See how it's dripping off? I'll just catch my drips here. The point of this is that it's faint enough that I still see my drawing. I still see what I want to do. Now, I didn't design that much out before I started putting my undercoat on. You guys can draw all your art out first, and then you still see it under your undercoat. You have a good undercoat covering, and you have your design still there. This should not take a lot of paint because over 50% of it is water. I'm using a big brush for this because I have a lot of space to cover, and this is not very detailed. Now, I used a red undercoat, for one, because I usually do a red undercoat. That's just how I am as an artist. But also because I'm going to have a lot of greens, kind of like throw up colors in here because I want to express how much I dislike baked beans. So I want to use a complementary color that will make the work pop when need be. Okay? So now, since it has water, it's going to take a while to dry. Now, what you can do is you can wait for it to dry and then come back to it later, but it is acrylic, so it's going to dry pretty quick. I'm going to start sketching out some of my ideas for the rest of my project because I like when my colors mix. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing that. I'm going to clean off my brush here a little bit. So I'm not going to use this big brush again. Actually, I might, but then we'll have it clean for later. Brush clean-ish. This is why my brushes always look like this. I am not very good at cleaning them, which means I also don't exactly know where all my paintbrushes are. Currently, I've been moving, And so I am using my oil brushes, so it'll be interesting to see how this works. I paint with oil, not acrylic, but since I am teaching a class in acrylic right now, I thought it'd be best to paint in acrylic. Kind of getting the swing of it. All right, let's see here. I'm going to use this annoying green to map out where everything is on my piece. That lid won't shut. That'd be why it was an annoying color. So I'm not going to use much. I'm not going to use any water for this because I want this to stick out. And this is kind of my outlining. I have a rough draft. I think I left it somewhere. Which means no, I didn't look for it. But I know what I'm doing in this case. So what my design is this girl who I'm using this symbol of kind of force-fed, not happy situation to show the hatred for this type of food. I'm very blessed that I'm able to decide what foods I do or do not like. Alright, I'm going to have some baked beans in the background. I'm going to add wax to this. But that's just because that's what I do. Alright, so I got my layout basically of what I want to do. And I got to think about what I want to do next. Let's see here. I'm going to use some yellows and purples in this, which means I'm going to have to mix my purple because I don't own a purple. I want to show kind of a sickly face, but I need to use complementary colors. So I'm going to just start plastering this yellow on here. Find out where all of my muscle structure is. Here's my nose. Okay. Oh, that's very shiny, isn't it? Let me see here. Nope. None of that helps. It's very shiny. Alright, there. That's a little easier for you guys to see. Eyes would go. I'm actually going to go for some reds here. Kind of get this area filled out so that you can see the difference of what I need because I'm going to paint multiple layers on this. Oop, that was her mouth. See, that's why you got to make notes as to what you're doing here. All right. That's too much paint. Can't see the design. So I'm going to stop that and move somewhere else. All right, so I was using yellow, kind of show the sickly. So I'm going to put my hands in here. When in doubt, look at your own hands, your own body, to figure out what exactly it would look like. My forms are normally not not realistic. I over-exaggerate parts of the body. Now, it's important to notice that when you mix complementary colors, the intensity of that color will drop. So if you add a little bit of green to red, it will turn a darker, calmer red. Okay? Yeah. And then vice versa. If you have a lot more green and you add reds, it's going to be a calmer green. It's not going to be shouting right at you. And then if you get to the point where you mix all of it together, you get brown. Fastest way to get to brown is mix two primary colors. Not all your colors, just your primary colors. So I'm doing this also for me to get paint on here so that I can work on details down the line, but right now I'm kind of just, I don't know, just feeling it out a little bit. This is just how I am, I guess. I don't really know how to describe that. Especially since I just put the thumbs on the wrong side of the body. Perfect fix, though. Alright. My paint's not going as far as I want. Put more on or water it down. I gotta mix real quick. Whoops, dropping paint. So when I mix paint, this is my green and this is my blue, I actually use the opposite end of the paintbrush so that it does not, I did not mix the right colors. Wow. This is what happens when I talk and work at the same time. Blue, how about, and red, let's try that. It's good to know which one is your secondary and which one's your primary, guys. Anyway, so let's use this brush. I'm using the end of this brush. And then I mix it. If you have a ton of blue and a little bit of red, you are not going to get purple. That's just not going to happen. So you got to make sure that you have more of your lighter tone than your darker tone, or you're going to be using a lot of paint. Kind of make my beans here. And I kind of miss painting with acrylic now, because I know this stuff is going to be dry for me to be able to take this back to my class tomorrow. I'm used to painting with oils and it not being done till a month or so after. Add some white into this too. Seems like it's getting a little dark, but I still want some highlights in here. Alright, I am almost ready for more detail. I gotta finish filling this space though. Okay, so I kind of have a little bit of my basics out. Now for me, you do not have to paint this way. This is just an example of ways you can paint. So I have used a lot of paint on my picture because I am very used to oil painting, and oil sits and it won't dry for a very long time. Acrylic will dry it in probably like 5 minutes at the least. So I have layered it heavily because I would still like to mix my colors. So it seems a little confusing. Doesn't look like there's baked beans in there. Maybe not so much of a happy feeling. But let's find this person and this struggle a little bit more, shall we? I'm going to use some whites here first. See if we can lighten up this face. I wanted that to drag a little bit more. So I am big on facial structure. And I overemphasize the cheekbones, the nose, the mouth. It's just how I am. Note that although this isn't realistic, it is three-dimensional, which is a requirement sometimes in art, and my lessons in particularly. Notice when I have a piece that did not drag as far as I wanted it to, all I do is add a little bit of water to my brush. Alright, brush is a little too big, so we need a smaller brush. And outline this nose. So I'm going to leave that face alone for a little bit. It's getting a little wet. And what I mean by that is it's so thick it's not really drying and all my colors are kind of just turning to mush. So I want to keep those colors. I'm going to work on the body a little bit. I want this body to stick out a little bit more. Notice I'm still using a lot of water. Every time you see my hand go over here, I'm getting water because I want that undercoat and all that painting I just did still to peek through the tiniest bit. Okay guys, so this isn't going to be done in like 2 more minutes. So I'm going to keep working on it. You will see the end product, especially if you watch a different video. I'm going to do the speed art of the rest of this. But right now, the information on this is kind of limited. Again, I like to give you short videos to kind of get you started, but allows you to do your own creativity. So this is my painting style. It has to do with a lot of layers, and I'll keep adding and keep adding and keep adding. Stay tuned in the next video to see the complete product. And if you're in one of my classes, you'll get to see it soon here in person. So, thank you for watching. If you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. And I will see you all in the next video. Toodaloo, boodaloo.